Hello friends, today I'm going to be talking about what are the different types of real estate investments. I remember getting started in real estate or wanting to get started in real estate and thinking, my goodness, where do I even begin? There is so much out there. What do I want to do? Where do I want to invest my time and my money in this big game of real estate? Today I want to ease your fears, like the fears that I have, and help you understand what real estate investments, what different types are out there so you can plow forward and begin your real estate investing career, or understand which segment is right for you. So in this video today, I want to help you understand why real estate is that vehicle to help you reach your financial and lifestyle goals. I'll then simplify real estate into two different categories and talk about those and why they're important, and explain those two different strategies or two different categories with real world examples that I've used in my own career. And finally, I want to help you understand which of those best fits your situation and which one you should consider right now. If you're ready, let's go. So first off, why are people interested in real estate investments? Well, ultimately, number one, it's the American dream, right? Owning a home is something every individual, every family wants to do. I would say 95% of America have that dream. Also, owning real estate, it is a real asset. It's something tangible you can see, and it's proven time and time again over the years, over the decades, over the centuries to be a good investment. Usually, real estate, real assets over time appreciate, and for many individuals, it ends up being the best investment they've ever made. Think about it. If you bought a home in California 30 years ago and you bought it right here, chances are at this point in your life, it could have doubled, tripled, quadrupled in price. That is a pretty good investment. And for a lot of people, it becomes their retirement. And we know that real estate is the number one wealth creation tool out there. And it can also help you live the lifestyle that you want. It gives you freedom. You know, real estate has been something great for me. I own a company. I still work most days, but I have the flexibility to do the things I want to do. There's other extracurricular activities that I engage in. I'm fortunate enough, because of my situation with real estate, I coach a high school wrestling team. I'm able to participate in a lot of my kids' activities. It's all because real estate has given me the flexibility to be able to do this. And I'm super grateful for that. So what are the two categories that we can lump real estate into? Well, I like to lump them into these two categories. One is passive income. The other one is non-passive, or a lump sum of cash. So what would fall under passive income? Well, this is money that comes in every single month without you actively having to do a whole bunch. Now, don't get me wrong, you're going to do something. There is work involved depending on your situation and the property that you have. There's rentals, and under rentals, there falls a whole bunch of different strategies, from long-term rentals, like renting a home, buying multiple units, short-term rentals, commercial leases, or storage units. I love passive income through real estate. I remember when I was looking to buy my very first home, when I was searching, I thought, listen, what if I could find a fourplex or a duplex? And I lived in one side of it, but I could rent out the other ones. If I could get these other units to pay for my mortgage, how awesome would that be? I remember I'd found a fourplex that I was gonna buy. I just didn't quite have enough credit, enough history to be able to purchase that property. But what I was able to do is buy a condo. It had an unfinished basement. So over the years, I'd worked with a few individuals to finish the basement. It went from a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom to a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom. And when I finally decided to buy a home, I was able to keep that condo and rent it out. And when I bought my home, we'd made sure in the basement that we built out a basement apartment. And we rented that basement apartment out. I remember my mortgage was something like $2,200, and renting out a basement apartment for $700 covered about 1/3 of our mortgage. So being able to rely on that passive income almost covered my mortgage, from the condo that I owned, that I was renting out, to the basement apartment. I almost had my mortgage of the home that I lived in covered just by having passive income coming in from real estate. Even now, some of my favorite investing strategies for passive income are short-term rentals. Matter of fact, I have 5 short-term rentals right now that are bringing in a significant amount of money every single month. Now let's talk about the non-passive. This is the one that might require a little bit more elbow grease to get a lump of cash in your pocket. Now these strategies go from a fix and flip, wholesaling, or buying and holding property for a period of time and turn around and selling it. I know individuals that their whole job right now is to find properties. They're very good at construction, very good at fixing things up. They have a good eye for decorating. They'll buy a property that's run down. they'll fix it up, they'll turn it around, and they'll sell it for a profit. Now, they're a little bit more engaged in the process of day-to-day work by getting this property from where it's at to where they want it to go to so they can ultimately sell it for a profit. I remember learning this strategy early on. I had bought a couple of lots up in an area that was really desirable. And I remember there was a lot of my friends, a lot of my coworkers that did the same thing. And ultimately, these sold out pretty quickly. But I remember an individual coming to me and saying, listen, I know you bought a couple. I would love to buy one of those lots from you. So I was able to quickly, within 6 months, turn around a property that I bought and flipped it to a friend of mine for a nice profit. Now let's dive into the 4 areas of real estate. Most property or most investing strategies that you get involved with fall under these 4 categories. The first is residential. Now under residential, there's a ton of different strategies. And ultimately, residential is probably the largest, the most prolific real estate investing strategy out there. Because once again, it's the American dream to own a home. And even now in today's economy, with interest rates being higher, people still need a place to live. And chances are, if they can't afford a home, they can't afford a mortgage, they are going to rent a property. And if you have properties, if you have a residence, you have a home that you can rent out, chances are that's going to be a very strong investment over a period of time. Now, also with residential investing, there's short-term rentals, there's lease options, there's multiple different things you can do. There's midterm rentals, which I'll talk about in another episode, but there's a lot of strategies that you can utilize with residential real estate. The second one is commercial. Now, these are buildings of commerce, and these range from anything from a car wash to storage units, RV or mobile home parks, even though they could probably fall under industrial or multi-use. But I actually had some experience with this many, many years ago as my real estate investing career was starting to take off. I had the opportunity to buy a mobile home park with a lake associated with it and a small home on it. It was awesome. It ended up being a great deal where I was able to purchase this property, and ultimately I was able to sell off the mobile home park and the home, but keep the lake and the commercial ground. And eventually I ended up selling all of it, but it was a really fun property, a really neat property. It was my first introduction into commercial real estate, and I learned a lot from it. The other one is industrial. Now, these are factory buildings, warehouses, distribution centers, or manufacturing. Now, I think this is a market that is underserved. I actually have a friend of mine that this is all they do. He builds steel buildings, and he will have it divided into 4 different segments, and he will rent it out to contractors, whether it's a plumbing guy or a drywall guy, or a guy that just needs to store some vehicles or some equipment. This has been a very good investment for him, and he builds these all over and gets people to rent them out, and he's making great money from it. Or he'll turn around, and once those people are renting the property from him, these industrial units, he will sell it for a much higher price than he built it for. The 4th area is land. And this is interesting. Land flipping has become more popular than I ever imagined it could be. Now, that's not something I've engaged in or I've done. I have bought land over time. And one specific thing that I've seen when it comes to investing in land was I bought a ranch many years ago. It was probably about 15 years ago. The interesting thing about this property is it had a government contract on it called a CRP program, the Conservation Reserve Program. What this meant is the government was paying money to have this property sit as it was with no development on it for a period of time. So when I bought this ranch, I had this contract, this CRP contract, where it was paying me $23,000 a year to do nothing with the land. So land can also be a good investment, and this is where you have development. If you're able to find a property that's zoned agricultural or maybe a lower density type of zoning, and you could turn around and get it rezoned as something that's a higher density and even develop that out, that's where a lot of individuals make some really big money when it comes to real estate. And maybe one additional area we won't talk a lot about is special use. This is anything like a movie theater, a school, a nursing home, but those aren't things that I'll get into right now. But ultimately, it all comes down to what strategy you're looking for. What are you passionate about? What do you have time to do? And ultimately, if you look at these different segments and investments in real estate, you might find something that you're more excited about and ultimately spend your time focusing on that category. Once again, I'm excited to hear your feedback. I'd like to know what types of real estate that you like, that you've invested in, that you've seen great returns with, or had a lot of fun with those different projects. And as always, I've got a free gift for you, aaronsfreetraining.com. It's on the link below. If you go ahead and click on that, it's a free short-term rental calculator that when you input the numbers, it'll spit out to you whether it's a good deal or not. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you have any questions or feedback, please go ahead, comment below. I'd love to engage in a dialogue with you. Thank you.